You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the January 28th, 2025 meeting of the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay, we're going to call to order the January 28th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Managers for the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau. May we have the roll call, please?
Don Babcock. Pat Harris.
Here.
Becky Greenlaw.
Here.
Rich Grammarosa.
Present.
Welcome. Diane Gonzalez. Present. Mike Seitz.
Present.
Adam Konechny.
Here.
Martha King. Laura Kratz. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Gail.
You're welcome.
Well, welcome, everyone. It's 2025, a new year. Time to start fresh, so to speak, and carry on from all the success we had last year. Looking forward to an exciting new year, and very happy to be part of this dynamic team of individuals that put on all the events and services and so forth that we do with the Bureau. So looking forward to working with all of you. Do we have any public comments at this time? Hearing none. This is the first meeting of the year, so we have some administrative and organizational things we need to do. And the first thing on our agenda today is the election of officers. And I'm going to ask Mr. Mike Seitz if he will present the slate.
Well, good morning, everyone. The 2025 Board of Managers slate, which was proposed by the Executive Committee, consists of Pat Harris for President, Mike Seitz for Vice President, Adam Kosinski for Secretary, and Becky Greenlaw for Treasurer. Is there any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed.
We will proceed with the vote at this time. I'll ask for your vote. Those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for that. So we'll proceed now with the reading of and approval of our minutes from our November meeting. I'll just remind everybody we did not meet in December.
Make a motion to approve it.
Okay, we have a
As
motion by,
Second.
motion by Mike Seitz, a second by Diane Gonzalez. Any questions, comments, or suggestions? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Also, during our new year or first meeting of the year, we have to do some appointments, and you do have them listed on the agenda, what those appointments are, but I'll read down through them. I'm going to ask for, once I read them, I'm going to ask for a motion for approval, and a motion and a second, and then we'll proceed with the vote. For legal counsel, we're gonna ask that we maintain Laura Nuremberg from Friedman and Associates. Our CPA and audit firm will continue to be Applegate and Company. Our accounting firm is AFS. Insurance, Dodd Insurance Agency. Retirement account firm, FACTS Inc. And that's American Funds. Then we have two special appointments that I'm going to ask to be included. We're going to appoint LP Company Ag Association, LaPorte County Ag Association member to be Mike Seitz, and also for Mike Seitz to be our state legislative liaison. Those are the appointments we're recommending.
I think we might want to correct the insurance. We have two of them, and I think you only read Dodd.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Yes, that is correct. Jack just brought it to my attention that I only mentioned Dodd Insurance, but we also have Blake Insurance. We do have two to cover something that we do here at the Bureau. Thank you, Jack.
I would also like to nominate,
Well, we're not gonna do that first. We're gonna ask for, a motion to approve those appointments.
Motion's approved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Rich Gravarosa and a second by Laura Krenz. Are there any discussions or comments on the appointments? Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now, we didn't have another appointment, but because it's me being appointed, I can't do it, so Mr. Mike Sykes is gonna make the announcement or the request.
okay.
Go.
A special appointment to the FMEC Board of Directors Liaison, nominate Pat Harris.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Becky Greenlaw and a second by Rich Gravarosa. Any discussions or comments? Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then this brings us to our treasurer's report. Becky, you want to give us an update?
Sure, we have 2 months to review, since we didn't meet in December. So for November 2024, there were total accounts payable of $11,979.16. Total payroll of $63,350.43, for a grand total of $75,329.59. Excuse me. For December 2024, total accounts payable was $215,306.52. Total payroll, $44,257.55, for a grand total of $259,564.07. Then I have for both months the statement of financial position and profit and loss budget performance, as well as the November and December bank reconciliations and corresponding claim sheets for your signature.
Thank you. Hey, you all had a chance to look this over before today, so I'm sure if you had any questions, you probably already pursued those with Becky and Jack. So I'll ask for a motion to approve our financials as presented by our treasurer.
I so move. Second.
We have a motion by Laura and a second by Diane. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we get down to the real meat of this, this meeting, the meat of the meeting. We really have a lot to talk about. There's some exciting things going on, so we're gonna start out with Jack and his staff to give us an update on their activities, and I think we're gonna have a lot going on today. We did, just to remind you all, Linda Simmons did retire, and we did have a celebration for her, and it was very, very warming to see all the individuals that came out to recognize and show their appreciation for all that she's done with the Bureau over the years. So we're gonna miss her, and Amy's here today, filling in officially now as our new marketing director, and we welcome Amy to the table for some exciting
Big
updates.
kids
and-
table now, the
Yeah,
adult table.
yeah.
Very exciting. Yes, no, thank you, I'm looking forward to
So
it.
with that, Jack?
Oh, great, Pat, thanks. So, first of all, congratulations to the executive board for getting reelected, of course, but more importantly, willing to give up your time that you do to help us and make everything we do relevant in the community. You guys are just been an awesome board the whole time that we've been here, this staff, and you understand that you're working with some real professional folks, and you give them the leeway to do the job, and you give a lot of your time, especially the board president. I mean, Pat and I have become best friends over these
Yeah.
we just have to talk a lot in her
Yeah.
capacity, and the fact that you're willing to step up and give that time, all of you, all the board members, but certainly those that serve. And to that note, the position Pat holds with FEMC representing us and Mike with the Ag Association, a big part of our community, big part of the county, and they've made a lot of progress. So thank you again. I want to make sure we get that on the record.
Jack, can I do one thing before you
Of course.
proceed? Because I do, and I apologize because I
Yeah.
went right past it on the agenda. We'd like to welcome you, Rich Grammarosa, as a new appointment from the commissioners to the board. And we look forward to having your input and inject all the wonderful wisdom and knowledge that you have into this organization. I have to put it out there. And Laura, welcome back.
Thank you.
And she's been here before, so she's kind of familiar with this, but we're always happy to have you involved. We were with our advisory committee, so you stayed a part of the organization. But welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Ask him at the phone.
So, just speaking of Rich, he brings a lot to the table, certainly being a small business representative, but more importantly, their family is heavily involved in third-party rentals in Michigan City. And we're gonna tap them and use them, Amy, to help us and figure out how we better market and work there. Rich and I've had a chance to talk a little bit about that, but that's, we're gonna spend a lot of time talking about how to reach out to those entities that fall under third-party rental, but having somebody on our board is gonna be a big deal, Rich, thank you. Yeah, probably more
That's the
Connie.
wisdom and knowledge I was talking.
Yeah. Between he and Connie, we'll draw the help out. So, I'm gonna be doing a little bit different formatting this year, on my reporting. I think, let's see, did we putting it up there, Chelsea? But if not, so I'm gonna be, Gail, Scott, and Chelsea and I will speak under operation and finances on a monthly basis when we come in. There will be an executive director report. Today it's fallen under mine. Pat has actually asked next month, we're gonna put that in a category of its own. And that report is gonna contain follow-up action items on our planning process. We spent a lot of time, a lot of money working on a very well thought out planning process. And we wanna make sure that the staff, the board, the community understands that our mission is to not just do it and drop it and move on, but to do the follow-up and take care of the action items that need to be taken. So I've asked Dan to do that in his capacity as executive director. He'll be coming up in a minute. He had a planned vacation this month, so he's joining us by Zoom. But that will be on your agenda every month as we move forward. You will also be getting a report under titled Marketing and Data Analysis, or Analytics, excuse me, and that'll be Amy and Robbie will be tag teaming that report. Heads and Beds, Amy and Brett. Community Relations, Dale. NITDC, Robbie. Legislative updates will come from Mike Seitz. Event directors from LaPorte, Michigan City, and the county will be giving updates. And then normally Angela will be giving a blue chip update and an advisory board update at the same time.
Right.
So that's gonna be a firm format moving forward. It's not a lot different than what we did before, but just a couple of things to kind of spice it up a little bit. So having said that, I'm gonna have Gail talk to you a little bit about our operation and finances, especially with regards to, we met with the Board of Accounts recently and had a great opportunity to get some understanding of what they were looking for and how we can better be transparent and serve the community. And it was a great meeting. Usually you don't say that in terms of meeting with the Board of Accounts, right? It's like we'll get a root canal or something, right? But I'm telling you, it was a great meeting. And one of the reasons it was a good meeting is because there's nothing we do that we don't care what, they can see everything. Everything's wide open. They walked in the door, we had our attorney here, we had our accountants here, we had our books wide open. We said, come on, let's go, let's talk. And it was a great meeting. It could have been better. So Gail, would you drill down a little bit into the results of that? Just because there are going to be a couple of accounting changes, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. But you gave me the microphone, so I'm going to pass. This is our board listing. If you just review your information and see if there's anything that you would like to have changed. Thank you. Yeah, As Jack said, State Board of Accounts came here, first time, in December. And the results of that meeting were that we, LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau, would request to submit financial statements on the GAAP accounting procedure, generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP, which we already do, but we would now be submitting them directly to the State Board of Accounts rather than our audit at the end of the year passing through our accountant and going to them as one document. We will adhere fully to the Governmental Accounting Standards Board's guidelines and any related state examiners' requests and directives. That examiner will be assigned to us through State Board of Accounts. We believe that Crochis may be who we'll be working directly with. LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau is a special purpose unit of government. We are tax exempt. We are not a nonprofit. So that put clarity to a question that has come up over the years, and we're very happy to have that fully clarified. State Board of Accounts will assign that contracted firm to conduct our audits on a 2-year cycle. Their normal cycle is 4 years. We requested to be put on a 2-year cycle because we don't want anything that's a hiccup to turn into anything else. We want to address it, should it come up, and move forward with full confidence of the State Board of Accounts. Applegate and Company and AFS Company will continue to act on our behalf to meet all of those SBOA requirements. And the state's gateway system, which is a digital network system, will be utilized for us to submit all our required reports. Those reports are set through statute to be submitted by our fiscal officer. Our take on that, our leadership's take, is that I will be doing that as Chief Financial Officer. The only other option would be through special request. We could have our treasurer do it, but then it would change if and when the treasurer changes. So that laid in another layer of stability to the processing. Our first report is due at the end of this month, Friday. That is called the 100R report. That report basically lists the names, business address, and compensation of all LaPorte County CBB employees. Excuse me. The AFR, annual financial reports, we submit both monthly and at the end of the year, and an additional prep report just prior to our face-to-face or direct contact audit with our assigned party. So the one statement that sums it up is the SBOA determination and reporting will require additional reporting by myself, and will highlight LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau as a professional, very transparent tourism entity. So, we're happy.
Questions? Any clarification? Not a lot of changes at all. And just to be real, talk about transparency, I'm gonna be a little bit transparent here. The reason they were here, there were folks out in the community that seemed to feel like we weren't following all the guidelines. And so it was a great thing when the rumors or whatever happened and folks had questions. We said, now let's get it in here, let's get it solved, let's drill right down to it. And the fact is, of course, we've been audited every year, just like we're supposed to be, regardless of what was out there. And as you all know, our audits have been spot clean every year, all the way through. So congratulations. And Gail, every entity is busy at the end of the year with the normal stuff. That Gail's had to deal with these changes, and as you all know, we're gonna talk about later on the agenda, but we just closed out a very, very successful invitational tournament at the Civic, and, you know, we probably ran $50,000 worth of travel from 10 basketball teams, getting them on airplanes, getting them on vans, just to add to Gail's busy time already for the month of January. So it's been a hectic time, I know for Gail for sure. That's just the way, the nature of the beast being the CFO. But great job, Gail, we appreciate all that. If anybody wants any more follow-up on that, we're glad to give it to you, but that's, she nailed it, she got it good. So, I get the opportunity to share with all of you, I've leaked it out to a couple of you, but every year since
Only
we-
because you just can't,
I can't. Every year since we've been here, when I say we, it was Linda and I that started, but several of the staff, Dale and Amy, and almost everybody's long-term staff now, Chelsea Scott, Brett's the relatively new one. You can see that we've been able to increase our revenue substantially every year. Now, the big jump is when Airbnbs had to start reporting. That made a huge difference, and Amy's gonna talk about that in a little bit. But it doesn't matter, the climb is showing. And every year, it's been in the same range of dollars, a lot of dollars that we've increased. And, for example, it doesn't show it on this graph, but when we started, our budget here was $750,000. Okay, this one starts a little later. As you all know now, it's 3.2 million. That's money we're putting out in the community, and we don't keep it, you know, we don't sit here and look at it, we got certain guidelines on how we spend it and what we do with it, as you guys all know, you approve all that. But the fact that this staff and with the leadership of the board, what they've been able to do has just been fantastic, and we have not added one under roof hotel room in all that time. You know, I keep warning you guys at these meetings in January, when I brag about what we've done, probably won't happen next year, right? Well, I'm telling you right now, I just can't imagine we can do it again. But the challenge is on the staff, okay? We've already thrown
He's
out the
pointing you guys, but he's staff too.
That's right.
He's staff too.
You know, the bar's been set. You can see the number that we've increased. It was amazing, the highest increase we've ever had. Now, I want to make this clear. Just because we brought in more money doesn't mean we have, that we're going to spend it frivolously or we're going to do anything with it that we shouldn't be. And frankly, we don't have a lot of extra money. As you all know, the budget that you approved last year, the gap between our projected income and our expenditures is really low. We're spending real close to what we're projecting to bring in this year. So what this does is makes my job easier and Amy's job easier and Scott and Chelsea and everybody else on our staff and Dan and Robbie is, it is easy to manage when you got a little money. We all understand that, it really is. So if we gotta make a decision that we're adding something to one of our special events or something like that, it is nice to be able to look at it and say, well, maybe we can do that for the community, or maybe we can go in and spend money for a data system that's gonna give us some great information, which we did, and we tell you, as you guys know. So, I couldn't be prouder of the staff with that. Amy's gonna drill into that a little more. I mentioned the invitational. I think I'm gonna introduce Mark in a little bit, but he might wanna jump in here. Mark Schreiber is the superintendent for LaPorte Park Department. She's here to introduce the new civic director, but the next item on my report is the invitational update. And Brett, of course, new to our staff. This is his first chance to report wearing that hat as one of our staff, and I've asked Brett to give that update. Certainly, Mark, you can jump in, but we had a debriefing with the team, with Lullemeyer and the city of LaPorte and the CBB, and a couple things came out of it relative to maybe new ownership in the league and different things. And so, Brett, you want to touch it off, and Mark, certainly feel free to jump in.
Sure. Well, I mean, another great event for the city of LaPorte and the Convention and Visitors Bureau with the in La Lumiere with the LaPorte Invitational. You know, we had some challenges this year with, you know, thankfully for all the Notre Dame fans in the room, you know, Notre Dame made the Final Four, so they were playing on Thursday night of the tourney, or the Invitational, I should say. So that hurt us a little bit with attendance on Thursday, and then Friday, of course, we had some weather issues. Saturday, I think, was the earliest we've ever sold out. Great attendance. Overall, financially, I think we were up a bit over last year where the attendance was down. We made up for it in some VIP sales, which balanced things out. That logistics-wise, everything went very well. You know, as these things go along, it gets easy, not easier, more routine to do, I guess would be the better way. We all know what we're doing and learn from our mistakes. So, you know, it was a great tourney. Our sponsorships, I think, were up about 15%. Pat?
Do we get feedback from the teams?
Absolutely. I believe Brian mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, that he talked to a few again that commented about how great a tourney is, how our invitational, how they're looking forward again to next year. I know, like 2 years ago, Mark and I were on the floor. Carmelo Anthony's son's coach at Lehigh. Lehigh absolutely
Long Island.
raved about how much they love this tourney and how they love coming up here. And you know, when you have teams from Florida and et cetera, like coming up here in January and talking about how much they love it, I think that says it all, because most of us probably like to switch spots with them. So, but once again, I think just an outstanding job, great representation of the city of LaPorte, our community. You know, we, as always, Jack takes care of the hospitality, the travel and all those things, and the CVB and, you know, our community and our hotels in our community all took very good care of these teams, and they always rave about wanting to come back for the following year. Yeah, Mike.
What, excuse me, what coaches did we have here this year?
Well, since you're mentioning it, I'm sure you realize that Mike Woodson was there from IU. I believe someone told me Iowa State.
Brett, you were supposed to like just gloss over that.
You can't ignore Mike. It's hard. I believe someone told me Iowa State's head coach was there as well. Mark, do you remember any other coaches that might have been?
I think those were the two major coaches, but a lot of other assistant coaches typically make those visits. But those were the two head coaches that I was aware of.
Thank you.
Anything you'd like to add, Mark?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously on behalf of the city of LaPorte, thank you for the partnership. What the CVB brings to the table, both financially, but also impact of your staff is tremendous. We always enjoy working with your staff, very professional, ran a lot of the front of house, ticket taking, those type of things. Great help, top to bottom, so we couldn't do it without our partnerships. And obviously, I don't want to leave La Lumiere out of that. They're the talent, right? They bring these teams in, allow us to put this on. I'll just give you an anecdote real quick. The week afterwards, I had a meeting with a salesperson who was selling sports lighting, nothing to do with the tournament, but he's originally from the area. He lives in Austin, Texas, and he came through, and the first thing he said was, "That was really something that you had going at the Civic last week." I said, "Oh yeah?" He said, "Yeah, my wife and I, down in Austin, Texas, went out to dinner, and we look up, and there's the Civic Auditorium on TV. They caught the ESPNU game with La Lumiere and the opener there. And we hear those type of things all the time. So the impact, we can talk attendance, we can talk a lot of things. The impact to see that LaPorte logo go back and forth as the camera pans, as the kids run up and down that floor, is immeasurable. And that is really, to me, really the true value of what we do there. I mean, it's great to have a packed stands. The teams love coming here. They love Blue Chip. They usually stay in a Ramada. We've got them staying in first class at Blue Chip, and that's a credit to Jack and his staff for seeing that as a priority. But they love coming here. They love the venue. 1,500 people right on top of you at the Civic Auditorium is a great atmosphere. 1,500 people in an 8,000 seat gym feels like nothing to these kids, but we really give them a great atmosphere. We bring in pep bands. We got great music. Great everything. So thank you so much to the CVB for it. We did have a great wrap-up meeting. I think Brett and Jack touched on that. A lot of great things coming ahead with it. We got 2 more years on this secondary contract that we signed amongst the partners. And we look forward to extending that and having this be an annual event. And La Mare couldn't be happier to have games in their own backyard, so we look forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, great comment, Mark. And I think it's safe to say this, I'm gonna say it if it gets out there and I shouldn't have, but oops. But we did get a report from Longmire that, and this has been out there, that Nike is officially taking over the conference next year. And that's gonna add a lot of changes, and they'll all be probably for the positive. Probably get it maybe a different name, certainly we'll get some answers quicker here with regards to the format. We made some suggestions trying to figure out how we could better fill those seats and maybe go to a weekend format. All those things maybe will get answered once Nike gets a leadership role and takes charge, and we're hoping that happens soon. And that's been in the works for a while, so I don't think that was wrong to let that out, but too bad if it was, I guess. So, and then the last thing is, we would have never came to you all and asked for the amount of money that we put up for this event. If it wouldn't have been the opportunity, there was one prerequisite that I had, and Mark touched on it. I told Tom and Nick and the Longmire folks, okay, this sounds great for all the reasons Mark said, but if our name's gonna be on it, it's gonna be a first-class event, top to bottom, okay? So in answer to your question, the teams see that, they feel that we do little things like helping them get their laundry done, that they don't normally happen. When little touches like that, Mark has people assigned to get them in and out of the locker room and help them move around. And we try to help protect them on the signage for autographs so they don't get, we do a lot of little things that just make it a first-class event, and that's really cool. So it's a great partnership. We're looking forward to expand it next year. So that, any other questions on that? I'll move into our other signature event.
I would just like to applaud.
Yeah, great job. Yeah, it's cool when you got a mayor that's an ex-athlete, right? He's an ex-jock, so this is something that Tom has been wanting to do for a long time, and him and Brett actually been talking about this for 10 years, and they finally pulled it off, and it was great. So anyway, moving on to the offshore race. Chelsea has well, let me just start by saying you guys all are aware that we're gonna have a high-capacity race teams this year. I think that's been reported several times. We're all caught up on that because of the change in operators and the industry politics and so forth. So we are well down the path of getting things looking like an event right now. Chelsea, you wanna go over the race schedule so the board can get an update on what we got planned so far?
Sure, I won't go through the whole thing. What is on the screen is kind of a combination of our Race World Offshore and our public schedule. So this won't all be shown to the public because it's kind of an internal as well. We are looking to add a Monday event. We're going to be doing a community appreciation event just to try and invite our park department, our police, our fire, first responders, that sort of thing, to kind of get them included earlier in the week, seeing as that they really don't have much time later on in the week to participate in the events. Tuesday, we're looking at hosting a Logan's meet and greet party. We have a meeting with the zoo to see what that looks like next week. Logan is from the boat Logan's Heroes. He's got some disabilities, and their families come to this event for years and years with the old hosts of the event, but so we're adding that. We of course have the golf outing and after party still on Wednesday. Thursday we still have our big VIP party with the ribbon cutting right before it. Friday we are going to add a brew fest. That'll be a 3 to 7 at the VIP tent. Then going into Saturday we have some testing and some racing going on, as well as our vendors and our VIP tent as well for that day. The block party boat parade is also Saturday night as well. We're looking to add some new attraction to that. And then Sunday, of course, our racing, our VIP tent, and we're also going to look at adding some additional food and entertainment vendors, kind of a little further south inside Washington Park. We're taking over a little bit of the zoo lot for some additional parking with those extra racers coming in. We're gonna kind of expand our entertainment and food in the Washington Park area as well this year, so.
So we're gonna drill down into a couple of those areas. Chelsea, would you make sure that a copy of that schedule gets emailed to the board, please, or Gail, please? Why don't you do that? Thank you. So Chelsea touched on the Brew Fest on Friday afternoon. So we're gonna fill a gap on Friday. Chelsea, you wanna talk about that, please?
Yeah, so we're looking at Friday from 3 to 7. We kind of decided we already have the infrastructure there for this type of event, so it's not going to cost us any infrastructure money additional to what we already have. Our food vendors, our porta pots, our tent, tables, everything is down there. So we're gonna be working with Indiana on Tap. We don't necessarily, although we have the infrastructure, we don't necessarily have the staff to host an event in addition to what we already do. So we're partnered with Indiana on Tap. They will be running the operation side of it. Brett will be working with them closely on that. We are also changing our ticketing platform for not only the Brewfest, but also our VIP events will be through ontaptickets.com this year. We've used a different platform in the past, but we thought putting our Brewfest and our VIP tickets all on one platform this year would be the way to go, so pretty much.
Good deal. Excited about that. Shannon from the park department's excited. She'll get some extra parking on Friday, which is good. We help them out, they help us out. The contract with Indiana on Tap is very small contract. We're only paying a few $1,000s administrative costs. And Laura is actually reviewing that contract right now. We should be able to get that executed not too far down the road. So the next thing under the race would be, we've got a meeting with RWO scheduled first week of March. They're coming in to see the layout. Chelsea, you want to show the zoo parking lot layout, please? Okay, great. Explain what we're doing there, please.
We normally take over where you see the dry pit A, dry pit B, dry pit C, kind of the old skating rink area, is where we've always hosted boats, but with the addition of boats that we're expecting this year, we needed somewhere else to house them. We wanted to get them off of the grass lots, out of the gravel, and put them on concrete. So we met with the park department, and we have now taken over the zoo parking lot for extra boats area. So in here, I was talking about the additional food and entertainment vendors. That'll be, we're calling it kind of entertainment alley. So just a little strip here of food and entertainment, just to make the people that we are putting out in the zoo lot kind of feel like they're still part of the event, even though they're a little bit further out of the way than the other dry pit areas.
And then Chelsea put the cursor on the bus stop.
Bus stop is right.
Yeah, so this is, when people get off the bus, they're gonna see that other new pit area, they're gonna see the entertainment alley all right there. So it's gonna be a great fit when we're done. And then we've also, the white areas we've cleaned up our VIP and parking and added Brewfest into that. So when you take into account the added folks that are gonna be riding Royal Excursion, the free stuff, and the parking we've designed here, we're gonna be in great shape, I think, parking wise and everything. So, good deal. Any questions, please stop us. I'm gonna move on. So Scott is, I asked him to jazz up some things for us, and he really has. So, Scott, you wanna talk about the flyovers?
I got in contact with a group called Hooligans Flight Team. There's the picture of their planes. They fly World War II planes. They're gonna do a flyover both Saturday and Sunday mornings. I tried to get them for the boat parade, but they are booked for a long-standing obligation in Ohio that night. So getting them to do it in the evening, unless something happens in the future, we can just bank on them being there Saturday morning and Sunday morning. But they're gonna do a 10 or 15-minute show each morning too, along with the flyover. So they've committed to 5 planes, but they said because of weather, they come in from throughout the Midwest, but mechanical issues or weather issues from where they're coming in from to meet could take them down to 3 planes.
but anywhere up to 5 planes, and he said if he can get a 6th plane, he'll throw it in for free. So they're gonna do that, like I said, Saturday and Sunday both. I'm gonna try to get them incorporated with the national anthem Sunday morning and have them do their flyover and hopefully have somebody out on the water with the flag as well, along with the big flag with the fire department.
That was very impactful the year we had with the Black Hawk, whatever, when they came out, it just did something. Everybody around me, you could hear them commenting about.
I looked
wow,
into.
It was very impactful.
You're right, and I've looked into the military flyovers, and they're becoming very strict. A lot of the military flyovers that I looked into, they're more than willing to do it as long as it's either a national holiday like the 4th of July or Memorial Day, or it's a military type of event. So, and they're years booked. So, I'm still gonna scratch and claw and try to get somebody in though, but I agree with you, Pat, I agree, that year was, I mean, especially with the storm that rolled in at the same time that they were out, that was the cherry on top.
It was awesome.
And Scott, you're working on some type of air show for the boat parade and the block party still?
Yes, we just got in contact, well, Chelsea got in contact with an organization that does drone flyovers. Last year, it was kind of a late notice with them. It was a little beyond our budget, but since we've got some time, I'm gonna see if we can get some kind of drone show for the boat parade in lieu of the flyover, and see if there's something, a package that he can put together that's a little bit more affordable for us. Yeah, I'm still trying to find, I'm gonna get out to LaPorte Airport. There's a B-52 that comes in every year and lands there. I'm gonna try to get them to come and do a flyover as well, during the daytime, obviously, and then the drone at night. But I'm gonna go out there and see when they're gonna be in the area, if they can stay in the area long enough to cover our event as well.
Yeah, the drone show is probably gonna necessitate a sponsor coming forward. It's pretty expensive, but we're gonna have the discussion anyway. So, I think that concludes the offshore race discussion. Is there any questions at all? Just, you know, the VIP tickets are always the hottest discussion. NIPSCO has changed their format that they use with us. They've been a partner since day one, a great sponsor. The point came where we were actually losing money on that sponsorship because our VIP tickets became so valuable, the cost of the VIP tickets. So NIPSCO was gracious enough to change their sponsorship with us. They're only gonna take 80 instead of 200, which leaves us with more to sell, which is great. And NIPSCO has also chosen to do you guys will remember last year, X Insurance, and we put a VIP tent up for the race teams, the small ones. NIPSCO is gonna do that same option. They like that. So that's gonna free up more room in the VIP tent for all of your aunts and uncles and everybody that beats on your door. Everybody that I graduated with always remembers me racing for some reason. I don't recognize any of those names, but they know me. Yeah, so we'll be able to do a little better job there. So, I was talking to the executive board yesterday, and Pat wanted me to mention this, just something that happened in the last few days, but some of you may have been familiar with the Senate Bill 436. If not, that was a bill that was out there to reduce second-class cities to third-class cities based on previous census counts. And it could be devastating to communities. Literally, it changes the makeup of the county or the city council, the way they're governed. There are funding issues that the funding gets dropped in certain areas, especially infrastructure support. So we jumped on it this weekend. Mayor Angie got a hold of us, And our message was, and this is what Pat wanted me to share, that's a letter that we put together for the hearing that was scheduled for Thursday, and I was gonna hand deliver it. But because we were so effective over the weekend in stirring the pot, the bill author literally called our attorney, texted our attorney over the weekend and said they were pulling the bill. So, Mayor Angie was already in Indianapolis, waiting to go speak to the committee chairman. She went ahead and did that anyway yesterday, but, so the bill got pulled. But it was a great to be able to be part of that, and Pat wanted to make sure we shared that, and so that letter of support. Basically, I was trying to draw a distinction between the cities under discussion was East Chicago, Marion, Michigan City. You know, East Chicago, Marion, nothing like Michigan City, nothing at all. We're a destination, a regional destination. We've got a national park right here. We've got a casino right here. We've got a regional international offshore race right here. And the infrastructure support that it takes for all of that is huge. So we're way different to those other communities. And so the exec board wanted to make sure we got that up for discussion. I just throw that out. It could have come under legislative, but.
And I'll just give kudos to the folks that worked to get the gentleman or the person to pull the bill, because you have to present it in a way that it's understood about how unique this city is, as far as that, second class, third class classification goes. And to maintain that second class, you know, you have cities like Indianapolis, I guess it's the only city in the state.
First class.
That's first class.
Yes,
That's the only one. So then, so being second class is almost like being first class.
Right.
You know?
I like that scenario, yeah. So, I mean, and certainly third class cities operate great, but moving from second to third is not a good deal. Anytime you do that, it would have been huge impact. Nothing wrong with our third class cities. They're great, but it would have changed governance, it would have changed just a bunch of things. So we're real happy to be able to be part of that, and that's what we do. So, good minds think alike. Dan and I had been talking for quite a while about how we were gonna stay on top of the planning process. We had a staff meeting last week, and right in the middle of staff meeting, Pat calls. I told you, every day we talk. She said, by the way, are you guys gonna do anything about staying on top of that action committee stuff? I said, well, duh, yeah, we are, Pat. But Dan, I've asked Dan to take that task for the whole year, as I mentioned earlier. So Dan is gracious enough to join us on his pre-planned vacation to discuss a little bit about how we're gonna tackle those action items that were set forth on the planning. Dan?
Yeah, and if you would go back one slide before we get to this one. First of all, great to be with everybody this morning, and you know, we just started officially on January 1st, but my goodness, through this strategic planning process and everything else, we've been working with each other pretty in depth for the last 6 months. So it feels really good to be officially part of the organization, and you know, working with Jack to try to understand as we onboard, you know, new staff with the TDC staff and Brett coming on board, Amy moving into a new position. It requires a lot of thought and conversations between Jack and I how we're going to manage all of the different pillars and get this work of the organization done. And obviously Jack is kind of under the operations of finances, really can do what he does best, which is all these signature events with the business acumen it takes to pull off the race and the basketball tournament. I mean, that's right up Jack's wheelhouse, and the legislative aspects, and then the strategic aspects of NITDC. That's just a natural for him to do that. I'm trying to be in all the meetings so I can learn and be involved and contribute where it makes sense. But those are well-oiled machines at this point. Although, even though it's a well-oiled machine, every one of them has had major changes that we had to evolve through with the race. And, I mean, it's unlike any other year. I asked Jack, I said, how many years are there like this year where these changes have all occurred and disruptions to both the basketball tournament? He goes, Dan, 1 in 20, 1 in 10 years. I mean, so it's just an amazing amount of work that Jack's led in the team with Chelsea and Scott and now Brett. It's just amazing. So on my role, as Jack and I talked about, I do have I'm one of these weird people. I kind of like planning. And so Jack has really relied on me to kind of take the lead on a lot of the planning aspects, and I've been glad to do that. And we certainly evolved, very proud of the strategic plan we've finished. And as part of that, we now have to evolve into turning that into other plans, and I'll talk about that in a second. And so as we've landed, so I'll be in charge of the planning and report back to Jack and the team on that. I'll take the lead on the marketing and data analytics, working with Amy and Robbie. They're very capable, but I'll just look at it from the strategic standpoint. And they'll do all the execution of that. And then community relations, I've already worked with Amy on the marketing and Robbie on the marketing and data, and I've started to work with Gail on the community relations. And then I'll do the operational side of NITDC and take more of a lead role there. So that's kind of how the divisions of duties are going to go, for the first quarter. Then we'll see where it evolves to from there. So today I want to talk about the planning. So now, Chelsea, if we can go to that. So to remind everybody, all of these slides I'm going to show here is from the strategic plan and the strategic roadmap. So we've developed these 8 pillars that we work under, and it really helps us to crystallize our thinking. It helps us to assign work under the pillars to staff members and the appropriate staff members. And so it's really a good way to organize our thinking and our structure of our organization. Go to the next slide. So as we designed it from the beginning, and I was a big proponent of this, is that one plan ought to build on the next. So the strategic plan is the framework that everything else will be built around. And then from that, and what we're going to work on here in the first quarter, is the business and marketing plan. And it'll build off the strategic plan. And then from there, the budget. When this year, it's not in perfect order because we didn't start until the first of the year, and then we've got new staff coming on board, but this is the way it'll work going forward. We'll be ahead of it more than we're able to this year. And then we'll do a different level of planning or of that will fall to the staff level that'll be outside even the business plan. It's more of an internal plan that we'll use for staff. So that's the way we're going to organize it, and we work with Planning Next to come up with this process. So I'm going to be in charge of making sure we get through this. And it's really a perfect situation because of the new staff, and for us being new, it's going to give me the opportunity to sit down with all the staff, get to learn more about what they do, share ideas. So it's really a perfect timing for as far as where I sit to go through this process from that standpoint as well. If we'll go to the last slide, Chelsea. Yeah, so in the strategic plan, we have what we call these strategic initiatives. And so we have, in this case, there's 12 of them under one of our pillars. Looks like the marketing pillar probably. And so what we'll do in the business plan is take these strategic pillars and we'll start creating tactical elements under each of these strategies. So we'll just take it down and it'll be for the given business plan year. These strategies are for a 5-year time horizon. We won't work on all these strategies in every year, or we won't work at them in the same manner every year. But we'll refer to them and we'll ask ourselves, is this a strategy that makes sense for 2025? And if it does, what part of it what actions do we want to take towards achieving these strategies in 2025? And we'll identify, that'll then go into the business plan and make sure that we are moving these strategies forward or intentionally delaying them to a future year for a good reason. So this will really help us make sure that we are staying on strategy and moving forward in an organized and smart manner. So I really look forward to this, look forward to working with you, the board and the staff, and I think we'll find a very productive and fruitful process.
Pat, I do know that Dan has talked to me about wanting to get with you and maybe a couple of the board members to make sure you feel comfortable that our vision is the
Absolutely.
same as the board's in some of these follow-ups. So we've talked a lot about that. Any questions for Dan? He put me to sleep, just letting you guys know. That's exactly why I signed this to Dan.
I get everything that puts Jack to sleep falls on my plate.
Yeah, that's exactly, you figured that out. It was a very elegant presentation. You just know how I am with planning and some of that stuff.
Yeah,
It is what it is. Let's see, Pat, where am I at here? Okay, we got, it wasn't that fun.
That was
I feel the same way, it just goes right over my head. It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
So
he's
kudos
doing
to
what
you,
he's
Jack,
doing,
right?
and you and Jack are not, okay, so.
Yeah, and you guys don't know how much well, you probably do know how much I appreciate that. So, thank you, Dan. Now, marketing and data, Amy?
Sure. So everyone should have a new copy of our 2025 Visitors Guides. I hope you don't have one. We've got some extras over there. We're really proud of this guide. This is one of our key marketing tools every year. I really have to give Linda credit because this was her baby. Chelsea is always really highly involved in this process, and I am as well. So we're really excited about it. We print 100,000 of these every year. They go to around 200 locations in LaPorte County. They're delivered along the toll road to the plazas, I-94 Welcome Center, events, welcome bags, you name it, the visitors guides are there. So if each of you I know belong to different organizations, if you ever want a box or shared an event, please just let us know because our goal is to get all 100,000 of these distributed. So very excited about that. So you have that. Gotta give Linda credit on this too. So we placed an ad in Leap's Commerce Chronicle. It's a destination ad. I'll pass it around. They printed 2,500 of these and they distributed them, to the Leap members and local LaPorte businesses. So, and that's a biannual magazine that they do every year.
I like that, all seasons, one destination. I like that, because we need to really move into the other seasons. and
Exactly,
get
we
more
recognize
people
that,
coming.
right?
Yes,
We need,
exactly.
definitely need visitors
That's
in
good.
the
That's
shoulder
great.
and off-season, so we are a all-year-round destination for sure. And then we placed an ad also in Travel, Taste, and Tour magazine, which is a national magazine. I'll pass this around as well. You can see the ad. This also came with a digital article, so there's an article, quite a lengthy article on their website as well. So if you're interested in seeing that, go to Travel, Taste, and Tour, that's a lot of words, .com. So you can see that. As far as the LaPorte Invitational, they gave you a lot of information about that. We did promote that in several ways, but primarily through our ESPN 1000 partnership. I know you've heard about that. There was 34 30-second recorded commercials that played, 8 live commercials, and then digital display ads. And then Captain J. Hood came as well and did some meet and greets. So that was a great help. And then we also, through our sponsorship, placed a welcome letter in the program book, so I'll pass that around as well. They printed 1,000 of those, so you can look at those. We do have a new partnership with Dig the Dunes. I'm very excited about that. They have a very large social following, so we're looking forward to tapping into that. I met with Eve, got a lot of good ideas. Through the partnership though, it does include, again, social media shares, 5 newsletter features, banner ad, and listing on their website. But again, we have a lot of exciting things I think we're going to be able to accomplish together. And then we've met with local radio stations as well, so we're gonna continue our partnerships there with WIMS, WCOE, WLY, and WFM. And then really, we're excited about some new initiatives, but again, Dan mentioned, we're gonna be meeting, we're meeting next week actually, to discuss our marketing and business plan, so there's gonna be a lot of, hopefully, new things to come, so. That's it for now.
Data side?
Oh, sorry, and then Robbie's gonna report on the data.
Yeah. This is the part I've been waiting for.
I know. He's
Yeah,
got the
so
exciting
we've
stuff.
finally had a chance to start digging into these new programs and start looking at some of the data. And so today, I just wanted to give a cursory look, an example, kind of a very zoomed out view of the data we're looking at, what it's going to look like, and how we can start applying this to all the different areas. Right now with Placer, we're meeting every other week, and we are defining the county, and so we're working on these geofencings, that's the geofence of the greater Michigan City area. And in order to do that, that takes time and a few days for them to figure out, get all the GPS plants in place. And so we're going each week, going through our list of LaPorte got kind of messed up, so we're working on getting that geofence corrected, and then looking at other areas. The auditorium, the civic auditorium was just added into their data center. And then once they get added, we can look back at their data going back all the way to 2017. But it's all there, it's just not always up front in their system because it's so much data to process, they only pull what they need.
So eventually you'll have the
I will have
entire-
pretty much the entire county map. Or at least maybe the two big cities, and then all of the points of interest in between, the dunes, the parks, and everything like that.
That's very important because we have a wonderful county,
Mhm.
okay? And we know Michigan City LaPorte has some signature events. We have a lot of festivals and different things like that going on in the other communities
Mhm.
within our county that we want to make sure we track them too and make those communities aware of where their visitors mostly come from. They probably know, but this will kind of confirm everything for them.
Yeah, so that's we're starting with the big things and then working our way down the list. And this is, in another month or so, I'll be coming back with a request. Hey, if you have anything specific you want us to come look at, send me, I'll let you know with the details I need, and then we can get that turned around and get that looked at. So last year we had over almost 14 million visits to just the city of just to Michigan City. And you can see the visitor trends, and the wonderful thing about this takes out residential traffic. So all residents are not included in this data set. When you look at the busiest 3 weekends of the year, number one is the boat race. That's what we like to see. Number two, 4th of July. Hard to compete with that in a beach destination. But number three is Black Friday. And that's and me being new to the county and kind of understanding and having my preconceived, I view Michigan City as beach destination, lake town, and LaPorte. But shopping is popping up over and over again. We are a lot bigger shopping destination than I ever realized.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so and some of this data is showing that. And if you go to the next slide, Chelsea. So here's a trade map. This is where everyone lives that's coming to our destination throughout the year. We can see we're pulling from all over our area, but definitely all along the shoreline of Lake Michigan. People are choosing our beach over a lot of other beaches they could stop at or go to. So this is just kind of a cool map to kind of understand the draw. We're getting a lot of South Bend, some even Fort Wayne.
So do those colors represent a certain
Yes,
number?
so they're percentages. So
I see it.
the red is the highest, blue is the lowest.
I didn't see the mark.
Yeah, so that, and so when you're looking at this big, this will be more important when we drill into smaller events, you can really see the draw where we're coming from versus residential traffic. And then if you go to the next slide, Chelsea. So this helps understand their journey. We can break down this journey in a lot of different ways, by categories, by location. All those things that we look at. If you look at dining, we can figure out exactly what restaurants people are coming to before coming to the beach. We can look at where their place of work is.
It's gonna be.
And we can follow, when I'm looking at this visitor data, you can see the casino jumpers. You can see this constant traffic where they're going from casino to casino all across, the area, and where people are stopping at Blue Chip, they're stopping at all the other ones too. It's just really cool. And then if you go to the next slide, here's our favorite places, and this is where you can see the people who visit our county, these are the places they visit the most or have in common that they visit the most. So a lot of travelers, airports, shoppers, universities, and blue chips underneath where the people are, can't see there because of the thing, but yeah.
There you go.
It's a little further down. But anyways, you can see that this is, where we can get a common trend of the people that are visiting. So this is just kind of a sample data because sometimes when I go into analytics, I can go too deep in the weeds and lose everyone. So I'm trying not to do that because I have a tendency to. But this is just kind of the sample data of what we're starting to pull, what we're starting to look like. This Michigan City data just finally got finalized last week, so we've only had a few days to really start combing through this. But now that it's getting populated in there, we can start looking at it and start learning a lot of cool things. And then the next cool tool that we purchased, and I'm going to go over this real shortly because we haven't had as much time to dig into this yet, is our Air DNA. And this is how we look at, we haven't added any hotel rooms. Chelsea, go to the next slide. You can see, well, we are adding a ton of new VRBO or / third-party rentals every year. And this is the growth that we've seen for the last, since 2016. And it's just getting stronger and stronger. And so this is helping us understand our destination. And this really even breaks down the different Airbnbs in different ways. If you go to the next slide, you can see, our density of how many bedrooms are in most of our Airbnbs, the budget versus luxury and everything in between. We can see what's selling, what's available. We can compare this to all of our data sets. And then right here, and this is a thing that we're really going to start diving into, this is the occupancy rate throughout the year. And you can see, obviously, that big hump is the summer, which we would expect. But, so now we want to start diving into this data specifically and looking, okay, when are people booking for the different types a year? We're finding, just looking at the data quickly, that people are booking their summer stuff 6 months in advance. And some of the people that are booking the shoulder stuff are booking, a couple weeks or a month in advance. And so that will affect how we market that. If we want to market the shoulder season, knowing when we should do that and who is actually coming during that time. Because the other data shows a lot of the people who come here are repeat visitors. So we have a lot of happy customers that keep coming back, and that is compelling data. So we just need to figure out who those people are and how to find more of them. But yeah, that just kind of wraps up where we're at with that. It's still early days. We're still trying to figure out what we can do with these tools, but they're real exciting.
Now, literally, this was just especially the first presentation Robbie did, a crash course, just taking an early look at what we purchased.
Yeah.
We haven't even touched, we haven't even got close to identifying what we want to do, the questions we want to ask, and how we're going to go back and implement all this. We're a long way out, but it's exciting. You guys let us spend some money last year, and this is the result, and it's going to be really cool. We've already got kind of an emergency request from Mary Angie last Thursday night. She was going to, or is involved in a presentation in a few days, and she needed some data. And so Robbie was able to give her an initial response, and he's meeting with her this afternoon to give her the rest of what she needs. And we were able to literally drill down, how many years back? Was it last year she needed
All
this
the way
stuff?
to 2017.
Yeah, she needed the information. He's got it in the demographic spread she asked for, and boom. So we're gonna be able to help. That's how we're gonna help our partners. Park departments, both cities, the county, everybody are gonna be able to lean on us, and we're gonna help them with this.
That was actually a no-brainer for what we're doing for the tourism bureau to do something like that, because how are we gonna be effective in moving forward or going to the next level if you don't have the right data to analyze, so.
So we'll be shifting,
It's
Mark.
definitely gonna move us into a new direction.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, this data's gonna be used, in our planning sessions and everything. This is fantastic.
so, we'll kind of close that out by saying there's always a discussion in this industry about moving away from all the stuff that Linda previously and Amy shared with you today, all the French stuff. And that's not gonna happen either, okay? There has to be a happy medium here, okay? This document right here is one of the most popular documents there is. Robbie, on the toll road, you can speak for the volume of print stuff that goes out of there. It's amazing, some of the toll road guide and some of the others. We tried to reduce printing on different things, and by the way, we don't pay for the printing for this, the newspaper does. But still, we tried to reduce that, and the visitors wouldn't let us. They need them. I think we deliver to over 200 partners just within our county, all the brochures that Amy was, that we work with, the farmers orchard brochures and this and everything else. And then that's not counting the toll road. So the print stuff is still here. We would actually lose our international accreditation if we tried to walk away from this and put it digital. We tried, I tried. Yeah, Gail come back and said, nah, not gonna happen. Cause I thought we could save money and do it a different way, but that, I was wrong.
There's still a lot of people that want the hard copy. I mean, it's maybe in 15, 20 years, we can move more towards that direction, but people aren't just, they're just not ready to let that go.
We also still send out thousands a year through our leads. We partner with Indiana, the state of Indiana Tourism, and Michigan Tourism, and then also our website and NITDC's website, to where people can request those, and we gather those each month and send them through the mail throughout the entire U.S. as well. So.
And also, real quick, our Indiana Tourism Association, they actually did a study on that. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but they did a study and people still want the guides, so, yeah.
Yep.
At home, do their research.
So I mentioned earlier the great success we've had with heads and beds. For those of you that don't recall, I'm gonna remind you, when COVID hit, we huddled, we circled the wagons, we said we gotta do something to maintain our income and service our partners that are gonna be affected by that shutdown. And we formed our head and bed committee because our data from our hotels is not accurate because Blue Chip doesn't report. So we've gotta get our own data, and because of the work of that committee, you saw the results of what's happened every year with the innkeeper's tax. So Amy's gonna break that down a little bit and for you and give you some more details.
Yeah, so as Jack mentioned earlier, just now, our innkeeper's tax, we just keep knocking it out of the park. Can't believe it, every year it's great. We're just working hard to continue this trend. We were up to over 200,000 this year, so we're looking to continue on. As far as the breakdown, I wanted to let you know that the revenue, as far as local hotels, 58% of the revenue is coming from our local hotels. And then 42% is from our state distribution, which is the third-party rentals. And as you can see, it's slight, but each year it's kind of getting a little bit more even. In 2021 and 2022, it was a 64 to 36% variation, and then in 2023, local was 62, and third-party was 38. So again, now we're 58 to 42. So. And again, as Robbie mentioned, we're still analyzing the data that we collect ourselves. We're analyzing the new data, which we're very excited about. If you just saw, there's so much. I mean, sky's the limit, really. So as soon as we can really wrap our heads around that, it's just gonna be, we're gonna be able to better know what's actually happening out there. And again, marketing to those trends and so on. So we're very excited about that. And also in our discussions with our hoteliers, we know that some other key factors are driving the growth: continued leisure travel, Lake Michigan, youth sports tournaments, our great parks department. We work closely with them on those as far as the dunes, NSA, BPA, that kind of thing, large events, the Great Lakes Grand Prix. Robbie said 4th of July, oh my goodness. I also do the website, and our analytics every single year just spikes out the roof on the 4th of July. So. Weddings is always big, visiting friends and family, and especially during the holidays. And he also mentioned Black Friday, shopping. We've got our friends and family in town, so that's helpful. Notre Dame games, we get a lot of spillover from that, obviously. And then corporate travel, and especially this year with all the construction projects. We hear that every year, but we've heard more and more the construction that's going on around the county is really helpful. So that as well. I did want to touch on real quick the gaming as well. We were slightly down in gaming, but that was expected. There's a formula, and let's see, that formula. The formula? Oh, they build in like safety nets into the formula so that when we do see fluctuations, we know that it's gonna be minor every year. So nothing too concerning there as far as that goes. And then lastly, we do compile a sports calendar every year to give to our hoteliers to help them prepare. So this is a preliminary sports calendar. Thank you to Mark and Michigan City Parks and Dunes. We've got all the different dates here. We are still waiting on EPA for the Patriot Park dates, which is a lot. So again, this is a preliminary list. But I'm going to pass that around just so you can get an idea of the scope of the different events that happen in the county as far as sports goes every year.
While that's going around, I will follow up on the gaming, just real quick. I've said it several times to the board that the safety net and the formula that was put in place to continue not only the CVB's little bit of gaming dollars that we collect, but the counties and the cities also, is the most complicated formula there is. And I think a lot of you may have attributed that just to me or others, but I can tell you right now, if you put 2 lawyers and 2 CPAs in a room, you're not gonna get an understanding of that formula. And let me verify that. The state of Indiana knows just about as much about that formula as I do. They mispaid 2 municipalities, one of them Michigan City and one of them City of Gary, for 4 years in a row, the amount of gaming revenue they were supposed to get. That formula is so convoluted, I've been right, nobody understands it. So literally, our lobbyist that we hired through NITDC this year was one of those, along with Jim Pressel, I believe, that uncovered that mispayment. And we've got it corrected, but I just want to drill down, don't question Amy or I about that formula. And for those that don't recall, they used to pay us by the turnstile. So many people go in, we get a penny or 2 for every person, or half a penny or whatever it was. Now they pay us relative to Boyd Gaming's revenue. Okay, I'm not sure if it's net profit, gross profit, I have no idea. That's what nobody understands. But, so whatever revenue that is reported in some fashion by the gaming industry, they give us a portion of it. And the safety net, which may go away, was designed to not let us drop below a certain amount, which we're bordering on that now.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to clarify that, because that is a substantial amount of our income that comes in. And then the last thing that I saw this morning, floating around that you guys haven't seen, was an internal email. I think another thing we're attributing the innkeeper's tax collection to is the average daily rate at the hotels. Okay, because we go out and knock on the hotels and say, what was your average daily rate? What was your occupancy rate? Because the reporting system's flawed, as you know. Our stuff's pretty solid for everybody but blue chip. And our stuff is telling me, as I read that this morning, Chelsea put a little narrative with that. And I think the reason our innkeeper's tax partially is up is not because of occupancy as much as they've been able to raise their rate, which works out just as good. 5% of $150 is more than 5% of $90, right? So it works out really good in whatever way you do that.
Right.
So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, I didn't mean to share
Yeah,
that,
it's
so I
okay.
appreciate that.
Yeah. But that's kind of recent. I mean,
Yeah,
we haven't
yeah.
confirmed that yet.
Yeah.
Chelsea thinks she's confirmed it, but I haven't given it the final approval yet. But
a
no,
lot of drafts.
it's right. It's right. She's dead on. Yeah. So, okay, that moves us.
We're really kind of long here, so let's try to.
I'm sorry? Gotcha, okay. Dale, can you give us a community relations update?
Yeah, just a couple of things that I've been working on this month. As you can see when you came in, we are putting up a new art exhibit this month by local artist Glenn Kelly. We're also going to put up some things for Black History Month from Alan Williams. And I've been working on the Center for Creative Solutions. I belong to that board, and we explore all kinds of genres about what's creative. And we're going to be on WIMS February 13th at 10:15 discussing that.
Would you like for me to see the NITDC report?
I'm also working on Juneteenth, which is going to be with William Walker of the Michigan City Park Department. And that's going to be a festival on June 19th, and it's going to be an all-day festival. I'm working with the Lebesnick Center, who's going to have a fundraiser on February 15th. It's called Hearts on Fire. I'm the chair of that, and it's one of their signature events, so please come to that. The Michigan City Public Arts Committee, we've leased 4 new sculptures, which we're going to be putting out over the next couple of months. I was also put on the Homeward Bound Affordable Housing Community, and we're going to have a groundbreaking March 15th, and you're all invited to come to that as well. This afternoon, I have a meeting for a group called Renaissance, and it's a mentor program with kids for them to do yard work for senior citizens. The senior citizens will get that for free, and we will pay the kids to do that work. So I'm going to get about $25,000 in funding to pay those kids and buy the tools for them to do that. I'm also working with the Dunes Diversity Committee, and we're going to be running a play called Two Trains Running at the Whole Craft Theater. That's the old Elston Theater, and that's March 27th at 7 o'clock, so please come to that. I'm also working on the community report, and we're going to have that out probably in mid-March. I'm also working with Dan and Chris on festivals in South County, so it'll be the Door Village Harvest, the Door Village Festival, Union Mills Festival, the Sunflower Festival, the Westville Pumpkin Festival, and Wanata Scarecrow Festival. I'm also working as chair for Art Bash, which is the main fundraiser for the Lebesnick Center, and that's going to be June 28th. So please come to that. That was
Great update, and Gail has informed me that Brett is going to be assisting her, especially in the South County part, and actually they're meeting with Dan, and they're going to be doing some more expanded work down there. Thank you very much, Dale. Robbie, I'm going to skip the NITDC report today. We'll get it next month because we had so much on the agenda. I don't want to hold everybody up. Legislative update, Mike, could you give us a brief update, please?
Sure. As of January 17th, there's been 29 bills submitted to the legislature with regards to tourism. One of the bills that we are really tracking heavily is the Tourism Improvement Districts, TIDs. This bill is established to set up by the business owners and community leaders to improve upgrades within a certain district within cities, counties, or towns. In fact, this has been talked about for about 20 years. TIDs have been established across 20 states and 200 districts nationwide. Florida, Texas, Alabama, South Dakota, Colorado, California, Pennsylvania, among others that have this district. There is a formulation process to renew and to establish these projects. The bill sets minimum requirements for participation before a district can be established. The district, the bill lasts for 20 years in existence, and some of the potential projects that can be included cultural and historical sites, recreational or entertainment facilities, or themed businesses can be set up with this money. It's a special tax that's collected by the businesses and improved in this district. One of the, you can see on the handout, the roadmap Don Babcock and I reviewed this bill, and we think that the Convention and Visitors Bureau can play a very important part in the steering committee, establishing the steering committee that will help formulate this bill and go through this process from start to finish. Somebody is going to have to administer this bill, somebody's going to have to control the funds of this bill, and somebody's going to have to review and improve projects under this bill that are proposed by the businesses that are established in these districts. We're proposing the Convention and Visitors. Now, this is just the start of this bill. Both House bills and Senate bills, the deadline for House bills and Senate bills, February 17th is all the bills have to go to the committee, come out of committee. The second reading is February 19th, and the third reading is February 20th, and then the bills switch. Senate bills go to the House, House bills go to the Senate. So a lot of changes can happen to this.
Let me ask you, Mike, when do we need to know if the Tourism Bureau is going to commit to being at the start of the process with the steering committee?
That'll be after the bill is signed
Gotcha.
and established, and those guidelines are set into law, signed by the governor.
I think, Pat, normally, once the bill is enacted within the language, legislative service then goes in and designates some of these areas for the, isn't that correct, Mike?
Good point.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow, good deal, thank you, Mike.
Well, that's exciting too, that's a good thing for us to be involved in if we're talking about businesses
Yeah, it's sort
coming
of
into our communities. So
yes,
that's a good
it's
thing.
sort of like for people that know the economic development world, it's sort of like tax TIF districts.
Right.
Only this is going to be a tourism district.
Good deal. Thank you so much. We'll keep everybody updated. So, Pat, I guess one more report and I'll be able to close mine out. So, I've already introduced Mark. Of course, everybody knows Mark. Mark is going to introduce Gregory, our new civic director. Mark, would you please?
Yeah, I'll just briefly, and then I'll let Gregory fill in the gaps. But obviously, we underwent a process to hire a new civic and events director. We had 3 candidates for the position. We're able to make this hire here. Actually, last Tuesday was his first day, so don't ask him too many questions. But Gregory Peach is our new director, not spelled like the fruit. I'll let Gregory spell it for you. But we're very excited to have him. He comes to us originally a Central Indiana native, went to Indiana University South Bend, has been a South Bend resident since that point. Worked at the Kroc Center in South Bend as the hospitality director, and now he's with us. So, Gregory, go ahead and meet everybody at once.
Yeah, I'll introduce myself. Like Mark said, my name is Gregory, and I'm excited for this role as the event director. I know that we have several concerts coming up, which I'll mention. Just a few, and I have materials I can share with you all, but closely, on February 21st is the Prince cover band Purple Rain coming to the Civic Center, and then we have Fleetwood Mac, which is March 21st. Credence Revived, which is a CCR tribute band, May 10th, and then a Queen tribute band, May 17th. And so those are all coming up here soon. I'm excited to get the ball rolling. Our marketing efforts are getting started for those so that we can do a stronger push and try and get more people. We just had our Eagles tribute band this past Friday at the Civic, and the floor was completely sold out. It was packed, which obviously makes for a great experience. The majority of the reviews that we got were great, and we had a really good day at the bar and in concessions as well. So really excited about that, and I'm excited to point this in a positive direction.
You're welcome.
Yeah, go ahead.
Being a South Bend native, growing up like you did South Bend. I'm pretty familiar with the Croc Center.
Yep.
What type of events did you partake in at the Croc Center?
Yeah, all different styles of events. We had an annual Croc Fest, which I was one of the people that took on head on, and I drove up sponsorship for that, and a total of about $5,000 in sponsorships for that event. We also had an annual fundraising gala that we would generate roughly $20,000 in revenue from. But that was using our auditorium space, which was a lot smaller than the Civic's auditorium space, which could hold about 250 people if you have tables, whereas the Civic can hold roughly 1,000, a little over 1,000 with tables and the balcony. So the balcony is a tremendous asset to the Civic as a whole. But I did everything from birthday parties to large-scale corporate events. We hosted galas for other organizations as well, local organizations. So I'm looking to be able to leverage the relationships that I already have in South Bend and hopefully drive traffic to LaPorte and this area as a whole, as LaPorte County.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Joy is here from the county.
Yep, real quick, we did end the year up, which is always positive, with our two main income sources at the fairgrounds, winter storage and rentals. Winter storage, we were up 25% from the prior year, and our rentals, we were actually up 35%, and we're actually over 100% from 22. So we're obviously increasing those. We're gonna keep the momentum going on that, doing some minor improvements in our community building and small projects just to help increase that run. Our weekends that are available through this year, we only have about a quarter of them left. We're already booked with some kind of event for 3/4 of the year through the weekends with those buildings, so that's phenomenal. A couple of things that we're just gonna focus on this year, instead of doing any major infrastructure improvements, this is gonna be more of a maintenance and housekeeping year. Just trying to finish up some things. The sound system will be 100% done, I'm being told, by fair at the latest. And then all of our fencing, we're gonna finish that off with the areas that needed to be replaced and or painted just to keep that up. And then roofing, we have some maintenance on some of our buildings that we just need to go through and do to just make sure we're keeping up our normal maintenance throughout the grounds.
Pat, that concludes my very long report. We had a lot of stuff to cover.
Well, that's why
And the advisory board has mentioned they didn't have an update for us today.
Okay, but Doug, did you wanna say anything about the advisory committee?
We
A
didn't,
new person on there?
Stacy Bennett is our newest member. We didn't have any meetings or take any votes at all. We had no action.
Welcome to the advisory committee, Stacy.
Yes,
Good to see you.
it was an honor and a pleasure to have served on the CBB board. We know things change, but I look forward to being on the advisory board.
Thank you.
Back to you.
All right. Well, I'll open up for any board comments at this time from anybody, if you have any burning.
Did you put it on the back? Yeah.
Oh,
It's on
unfinished.
the back.
Okay, unfinished business, do we have any? Okay, we do have our contract for our park department, the master contract. Laura, did you want to present that, or?
I don't know, do I? If I can give out the one that I sent you last
No,
week.
yeah, Laura's approved it, the park department master contract, boat race.
Yeah, well, I sent it to you, thank you, because I didn't come prepared. Sorry. No, I didn't know. Yeah, this is the events contract that the Parks Department puts together all the time. We went ahead and altered it accordingly with the dates. Everything's pretty much the same, right? So this is for the 2025 and 2026.
Yeah, I put in the notes, when I sent this out, the only change at all was we lost Aquacross, which there was a $5,000 fee that we got back from the park department because they were no longer gonna have Aquacross taken up that weekend. But then we added the zoo parking lot, which cost the park department some parking. So we swapped that out. It was an even trade, literally, and the cost of the contract is exactly the same as it was last year then.
And the addendum for everybody to see spells out the new parking, which is really nice. It's just reflective of the slide that we saw earlier. It's no longer up there.
Yeah.
The one that we saw earlier that spells that out, so.
So Laura was recommending that, yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, if you have not had a chance to look at that, you probably should do that, but we'll at this time ask for a motion to approve the contract as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Rich and a second by Becky. Any discussions, questions about the contract? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
And I did get that sent out about a week ahead of time so they could review it, yeah.
Right, I figured everyone had, because nobody had any comments, I think they had to speak. Okay, so, okay, now, are there any board comments? Okay, well, hearing no comments, we had a very good meeting today, a little bit long, but a lot of things to cover. And we'll try to make sure next month to stay about an hour. With that, have a great month, and we'll see you all next month. Our next meeting is February 25th, 8:30 here at the Convention and Visitors Bureau. The meeting is adjourned. See you all next month.
Thank you, everybody. Hey, Gail, could you grab that contract and get my signature on